This is the No Fear Investing Show. We are your hosts, Mike McKenzie and Nathan Amaral. Today we have a very special guest, someone from our community, our family, our fearless family, as we like to call him, Adam Rouse. And if you've been hanging out with us for quite some time, you've probably seen his testimonial or maybe heard us mention him throughout our show about all the deals that he's been doing. Recently, he was on a little trip about closing a deal like every other week. So we kind of made a little, it's really great to hear. Anyway, we brought him here today because we want to hear from him himself about how he's been doing and the deals he's been closing. And just to share, he's really just a great guy. He's really just a great guy. And Adam, I'm saying that to you while you're here.
You were talking about seeing my mugshot and posters in the post office here a little while ago.
Exactly.
We switched subjects really quick.
Really quick. But no, Adam's a great guy, and I met Adam a few years ago. And Adam, I don't want to take it away from you, bud. But how about Adam? Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being a guest on the show.
Thanks.
Awesome. Let's dip into the past a little bit and share about your background. And before you got into real estate, what were you doing? And then how did you find out about real estate being an opportunity that you wanted to be around?
Well, my history was a long one in sales, actually printing sales, commercial printing, booklets, brochure, signage, pretty much you name it.
Okay.
And for the most of those years was with a private family-owned company. And then in 2011, another private company bought us out, and which wasn't all too bad because the two companies were in-laws to each other, so they knew each other. Just made sense for the two to kind of join forces. Yes, in-laws, and there was a great relationship there. But so we joined forces, and then in I think it was 2015 or 16, the company sold out to a corporate holdings company, and that whole corporate vibe and setting sort of set in, if you will. And having worked for a family-owned company in that family setting and transitioning to the other was a little challenging there early on. And as time passed, you felt that pressure, do more, we need more, all in an attempt to grow sales. And someone who had been sort of doing the same thing and was quite comfortable for that many years to now you're being told what to do. You're not asked, you're sort of being told. And there's respectfully, it was okay. But I just didn't enjoy that transition to that whole corporate setting, if you will. And so time marches on, and I have that sense that I want to do more, something different, something more for me. I'm a grown man, I'm 57 years old at this point. So started yearning for something a little bigger, better, and listening to local radio stations and some other media made aware of the potential of investing in real estate. And so I started digging and investing in some courses, gaining some more knowledge. And through that, met you, and you sort of helped catapult me, if you will. You. I came into the family.
Yeah.
And
at that time when we met, though, you were really busy, though. You were still really busy with what you were doing.
I was, but again, it wasn't a busyness that I chose, sort of forced on me. And the industry was changing a bit. It was becoming, I guess, more and more difficult to sit face to face with your clients, which was the case for so many years. And being one that loves, transactional sales and that whole relationship building process, it just the joy just sort of was kind of petering out, if you will. And again, met you, and we started talking about more and more of the potential for investing in real estate, and started our relationship, spent time together, gained a little momentum, got busy again. Life happened. And And all the while, the printing company was getting busier and busier, and my sales were getting better. So it wasn't so much about the money; it was about not wanting to work that hard for someone else. Again, we spent some time together. Started going through some motions to invest. Got busy again, and so sort of had to put the whole focus on real estate investing on the back burner. Then I got to the point where it was really, really unpleasant at the day job and thought, I have to do this. Got to gain some more traction with investing.
Yeah.
And some other things happened with life. This is not a sob story because it's a very happy ending. And,
Mike's already crying over there. Oh, yeah. It's going to be hard for Mike to cry today because he got a bank wire. So it's going to be hard for him to cry, but I'll cry.
Right. So on again, off again, busy. And then kind of fast forward to the pandemic, those last few months, I guess December, January, February, 2019, 2020 were my 3 best sales months in the history of my sales career.
Oh, wow.
Pandemic hit. I was furloughed. Nearly all the sales were just down the toilet. You know, everything was. And
furloughed was furloughed for you was like your saving grace. It was like, okay.
Well, it was. You know,
yeah.
that was
forced you to change.
Yes, yeah, that was for 30 days, and then around that 30-day mark, I got that call. Hey, sorry, we're not going to have you back. And the company just did not do well and didn't fare well at all through that whole thing. And so, and you know, I think back, you know, did I really deserve to be cut through all that? Why do you cut salespeople? You know, if they're the ones that are bringing in the sales and the business. Yeah. And it was kind of a last in, first out scenario. There were a lot of some old timers there, and they did what they needed to do. None of these businesses have been approached with those sort of challenges before, you know, the pandemic. Yeah. So I couldn't be very angry through the whole process. But like Mike just said, it was my saving grace, you know, to end that career and allow me to focus on investing full time. Just it couldn't have been better. Just perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah,
had that not happened, do you think you would have transitioned by now or not? Because you know, I know that it wasn't the best working environment. At the end of the day, when you're getting that dependable money, I know that's a big step.
It is. And I haven't made the money yet that I was making when my sales career ended, but I'm on my way.
You are very much on your way.
So yeah, but you're right about the money, and money talks. And when you're used to that, you're accustomed to that money, that security over all the years. It's kind of a tough one to walk away from that. But it was. But to answer your question, Mike, I'm not really sure, and to be honest, I kind of think I'd still be with that company. I really do.
I know why.
As much as I hate to say that, but
I know. I remember we did your whatever in our for those who don't know, every Friday we have an accountability call and we share our updates and our challenges. And recently we did a disc profile, and one of Adam's strengths is loyalty. And when we went over Adam's strengths, I remembered loyalty to the company and to the company he was working for. And I know I didn't say this in the meeting, but even though that you transitioned out of that, now it's loyalty to your own company. It's like now you stick loyal with your own stuff and build from there. So I remember that from your disc profile.
That is true. That's me. So yeah, so here we are today, and a year later. It's funny, I have a note stuck here in my office that Nikki wrote to me. It was on 4/20 of last year. It was when I was all in full time again.
Now, Mike knows that date very well, by the way, being law enforcement. I just want to say, Mike, whenever Mike hears 420, his police, law enforcement radar goes up.
Those days are long gone. It's not the reason my mugshot is in the post office.
So what does that note say?
Day trip. I'm sorry. Oh, the note.
Were you going to tell us what
trip Yeah, we made a day trip together because I had time and needed to get out of the house and that kind of thing.
Sure.
And 4:20, we're driving, and that was when the phone started ringing from my first mailer. And so I'm riding in the truck with Nick while she's working, and I'm talking and talking and talking. So the next day, she stuck a note over my desk that says, "Cheers to back in business." 4:20.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So just had that 1-year anniversary, a month or so ago, and things are looking up and up and up all the time.
Awesome.
Just better and better. Yeah.
That's great, man. And it's good to have someone like so supportive. I mean, I've met Nikki a few times, and it's good to have someone who's so supportive in your corner, especially on, even financial decisions or job change decisions. Sometimes that's not always an easy conversation, but someone who believes in you, and you've always said that. You've always loved the fact that she's stuck by you and stuff. So that's really good.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep her.
Yeah, I think you should, man.
yeah, you're in too deep now.
No turning back. No turning back.
Well, you know, the cool thing, though, with your background in sales and things, it's obviously helped you with your real estate business, because real estate's about people also. You're just selling, you're not selling, the printing business, you're selling real estate.
Right. And, that selling that you mentioned, Mike, the conversations, again, no one's face-to-face these days. At best, we're virtual, seeing each other's mugshots. But still, those telephone conversations that happen throughout the day with sellers and buyers, it only takes a moment to establish rapport. And nearly every call, before the call ends, we're laughing. A stranger, awesome. Just made a new friend, you're having laughs and enjoying life together, through what's going on in their lives. You establish that rapport and gain trust and be truthful in all that you do. And that's selling, those conversational, transactional things. That's the fun part about the business. Checks and wires are good too. I love both of you guys. Either's fine with me, checks or wires. Either are fine. But those conversations are the highlights of the day.
That's awesome. Adam, walk us through maybe one or two of your favorite deals that that you would share with a friend that would inspire them to maybe consider this kind of business, to someone who may be thinking about getting started in real estate. What's some of those success stories for you?
Well, all deals that close are great deals. Those are great deals.
And you've had some tough ones, Adam. You've had some tough deals that haven't closed or had some challenges, but how about some good ones that you've closed?
The easiest one, I can kind of tell you that in a nutshell. Got the property under contract and sent out neighbor letters. An elderly lady around the corner from the property called and said, her name was Ruby something, very sweet lady. Again, all these people are just so much fun to talk to. Yeah. Not all of them, but most of them. And she said, well, we live just around the corner from that property, and I'd love to buy it from you so that we don't have, she didn't say this, but, some Yahoo or some unpleasant person, pick up the property. She said, however, have you heard from the next door neighbor? And I said, no. She said, well, he wanted to buy that property some years ago. So if you don't mind, why don't you reach out to him? Well, he got a letter anyway. And she said, I tell you what, if he doesn't want it, call me back and I'll buy it. But you need to hear from him first because he really wants it. So nice, close-knit community. I ended up selling him the property and closed on it in no time. So that was the easiest deal I've ever done. And if that doesn't inspire someone to do this, I don't know what else will.
So a buyer put you on to another buyer.
To another buyer.
And that's not unheard of.
Your buyers will bring you buyers.
Yeah. So that was the easiest one by far. And then probably the most challenging was the first deal, which happens. It just happens that it netted me the greatest payday of everything to date. And on that deal, oh my goodness, there were so many twists and turns. The seller actually had two properties. They were separated by one in the middle. The one in the middle was owned by this second or third cousin who was kind of a thorn in everyone else's side. And I'll try to put this in a nutshell, not take too much time, but there was a larger property and a smaller one that came with the deal. The larger one got under contract with a buyer, and through that process, the we'll call him the Thorn, that second or third cousin, we'll call him the Thorn. He reached out and he wanted to buy both of them. Sorry, Mr. Thorne, the one's under contract already, but you can have the smaller if you like. And so he was just so angry that he didn't have the opportunity to get both of them, because it would have, if he combined the three, it would have made for a pretty nice piece of land for him to sell and gain in a big way, the three of them.
Okay.
And again, I'm leaving out a lot of details, but fast forward, I said, well, I'll sell you the small one if you want it. He said, sure, I'll take the small one. Sent him a contract. And in my contract, it says that when we agree on this property, you cannot go and contact the owner. Again, I was going to assign this property. Well, he didn't sign it. He still went and contacted the owner, which he should not have done. And he told the owner, you shouldn't buy it. You shouldn't sell your property to this guy. He's a fraud or something. You'll never get paid. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Thorne, cousin-in-law, but I just got my check for the first property yesterday. True story. She got her check in the mail.
Oh, man.
And so, again, he's more and more angry, and he goes and pays the taxes on the small property that weren't past due yet. I mean, they were due, but they weren't past due. And then goes back to his to the buyer and says, hey, sorry, I just bumped my screen there. I paid these taxes. You need to sell this property to me.
Yeah.
She said, no. Everything Adam has done, said, told me has come to fruition. He's a stand-up guy. I wouldn't dare do that. Wow. So meanwhile, the buyer from the first property, I reach back to him and say, hey, any chance you know someone else that might want the small property? The buyer that wanted it has fallen through. He sends me his cousin the next day. He calls and says, yes, I want the property. So yes, your buyers will send more buyers.
Oh my gosh. How many times has that happened to you?
Yeah.
A few times.
Next week, Adam will be doing a training on how to get your buyers.
Right.
That's awesome.
Because this Thorn pays these taxes, and now I have the property under contract with my second buyer. Thorn comes back and says, hey, I want my money back for paying these taxes. And I told him, you know what? You were under no obligation to pay those taxes. I certainly didn't ask you to. You had every opportunity to submit your EMD, earnest money deposit, and get the property under contract. You failed to do that. You did everything underhanded that you could to circumvent the whole process. No, I'm not paying you your money back. And then he threatened me with something about the attorney general and that sort of thing. And I said, please do not contact me about this again. And I haven't heard anything about it. It's been, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
It's probably close to a year now. Anyway.
Karma's wonderful.
Yeah. So yeah, buyers continue buyers. And the other thing about that process, it was a very lengthy close time. And the attorney, very good attorney, but just bad timing, went through 2 paralegals. Several mistakes were done with those 2 paralegals, misinformation. The title was back, and the seller was had power of attorney, and the contract wasn't written for her to be a power of attorney initially. So there was probably a half dozen or more back and forth with the county and getting that title or the deed confirmed with the county. And so just a thorn. Every time I turned around, there was another little left hook or obstacle or hurdle to get over. But
I always feel like those are always good in the beginning. I mean, I can think of, when I first got started in real estate, all kinds of thorns. But when over the years of coaching people and helping them close deals, I always feel like get those out in the beginning, and it makes it a lot easier later on. Because sometimes when you hear someone who gets a deal so easily in the beginning, you're like, oh, just you wait. You're like, don't worry, your tougher deals are coming. And
sure.
And I'm glad you've kind of had some tougher experiences in the beginning, because it just makes it so much easier later on. You're like, oh, that wasn't a bad deal. That wasn't as bad as my first deal or my second deal. right? So it definitely changes the expectations. That's good stuff. What Adam, what has, like, when you think about going from your corporate job into real estate, what has been like the biggest maybe thoughts you've had about that, going from employee to owner? And do you like it better, or you're, you know, like, I hate this, I want to go back to being an employee? What's your thoughts on that?
It's hard to put all of the answers into a nutshell.
Okay.
Wouldn't go back. There's no way I'd go back.
Okay.
It's, like we talked about a little earlier, Mike, about the money, you know, disconnecting from that nice salary and that sort of thing, that security. Mm-hmm. And then jumping into what I'm doing now, you know, that learning curve, not just learning the business, but again, take a pretty big nutshell, but learning about oneself through that whole thing, and how to sort of reckon with the fear of the things you don't know, and how long is it going to be until some paychecks start coming in, you know, paydays mm-hmm. happen, and, you know, I guess the uncertainty of it early on, and especially, you know, some younger guys like maybe our Donald, you know, that dude is just fearless from the word go. I love Donald. Blinders every day, you know. He's a great inspiration to me. Yeah. And I don't discount my knowledge or anything, but, you know, when you've just been accustomed to that sort of career for that many years, and then you kind of turn it on a dime, it was a little intimidating, I guess, would be a good choice of words. But once you start to see things come to fruition, things happen, you know, you go through the process, things close, and you know the potential. And that is absolutely proportional to the amount of time that one puts into this business.
So true.
I hope that helps.
Yeah, definitely.
Did I answer your question?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was wondering, like, you know, considering you've experienced both worlds, would you consider going back? 'Cause I've seen people who have quit their job for real estate, and bad decision because they quit their job and completely, and then they had to go back because they didn't realize, like, the time it takes to start a business and grow a business. It does take time. Most people think, oh, I'm just going to get in and I'm going to make money in 30 days or 60 days or less. And that's not always the case, especially if someone is brand new. But sometimes, you know, when you have, like, for example, a support team or a support or a community of people around you, it helps the process. Let's talk a little bit about that, because actually Mike and I brought that up, I think last week or the week before, about our community. What's been your feedback about that, and how helpful has that been to you, considering this little family that we've created?
In a word, it's priceless. And some reasons for that is, you know, being in sales, working for that company, is talking to customers all the time. Every day you're talking to customers, whether you see them face to face or telephone, talking all the time. And then to turn that off and be at home, you know, there's the pandemic. So many people are at home, you know, at that moment. But to be at home alone, if you will, and not having that interaction, well, that was just really, really difficult. And to and without the fearless family group to lean on and share stories with, and just bounce ideas and questions off of at the drop of a hat. You know, you have this issue, and when you're early on in this, man, you need responses quickly. You need someone to hear your questions and help you quickly. And to have that group to just, you know, send up a smoke signal, you know, send a question, ping someone, and you guys, you and Mike are always there, you know. You're part of the family. It's just been priceless. You have a group of like-minded people who are experiencing, you know, the highs and lows just like you are, day in and day out. And there are lows. You know, there are times when you're frustrated and you just want to pull your hair out. But gosh,
I remember how many times, Adam. Don't tell me the exact number, but we would just jump on calls for, like, you know, 15, 30 minutes, and we'd be talking. You were in transition out of your job, and you're like, Nate, is this really going to happen? Is this going to work? Am I going to be able to do this? And I remember most of those times I was literally outside of a hotel and I'd be like pacing in the parking lots. And I don't know why. There's a few of those that come to mind. And here you are. Now you're closing deals, and you got the business, and it's like the only way I see is up. So up from here, and it's truly great to see you excel and grow in your real estate business. Mike, what about some of the things you've seen with Adam?
Oh, it's the complete transformation. I mean, he went to being an employable person to an unemployable person now, because
That's true.
You've taken control. You're a true business owner. And you know, I personally get is more excited about your deals and other members of the group's deals as I do my own, just to see you grow and your confidence level. Like your confidence level a couple of years ago versus right now naturally is so much more. Like right now, there's nothing that you won't face that you can't figure out some reason around it or some way around it. So I mean, I'm super pumped and super happy for you guys and what you've done. And you know, when the furlough first initially happened, you're probably thinking, "Oh man, this isn't good." And you know, hindsight's always 2020. That was the best blessing in disguise you had, because it forced you to create that company full time.
Mm-hmm. It did. Back to what we were talking about, and thanks for your comments, guys. I appreciate that, the observation, and that's good for me to hear. You know that you've seen the change, you know, over the time. But yeah, without the pandemic and being in essence, I'm not even forced into it, but given the opportunity to do it, is just if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't change a thing.
Awesome. That's good stuff. Hey, Adam, I got a question for you. You know, we get a lot of people that, you know, inquire or, you know, want to be a part of our group, but sometimes they're just getting started. They're people who are like, oh, you know, I'm interested in getting started in real estate, but we have like these certain parameters. We want to make sure that there's people who are, you know, in the right mindset, are coachable, are willing. And that's what kind of makes a really good community. We're not all about quantity, we're about quality. But so when someone is, maybe someone who's watching this in the future says, you know, I'm thinking about this real estate stuff. What would you tell them? What would you tell someone who's interested? Maybe you're in a similar position like yourself. They're transitioning or want to transition out of a job into real estate investing. What would you tell them?
I would tell them, I'm going to put myself back in the shoes of one who had the full-time job and the salary, that security. Yeah. You know, the old saying, hindsight's 2020. I think I would have done things differently. Again, hindsight's 2020. Knowing what I know now, I would have chosen to sacrifice more of my time after my business day, before my business day, to learn a little faster, to do the business part-time and commit to it, and delay some choices for some other things, possibly like moving from a house I lived in to another one. And of course, you all know I'm in you know the lake now, in a renovation. Home.
We know. Yeah, we know. We know all about that lake house, Adam.
No. You see the stairs back there? They're not finished. The stairs are not finished back there.
You went into that house with the investor mind.
Yeah.
Yes. You knew what you had to do.
Yeah.
Sure did. Yeah.
You definitely did. You found a good deal, you negotiated, and you did something which a lot of people are not thinking about right now, which is buying. You were buying kind of like as the market, well, it was going up. It's still going up. But you bought a rehab, lived in it, and fixed it up along the way. That's the best way to get property right now in such a heated market, right? Is buying rehabs, fix, and then fix and stay for you, Adam. You're not fixing and flipping nowhere. that's the baby plan, right there.
Yeah. Plan. Yeah. That made the commitment that the next house would be a 10-year plan. What that means is not get into the house and live in it for a couple of years and move on. Yeah. But to get here and stay here, you know, it's a good place. It's very peaceful. And, you know, my heart goes out to a lot of folks, you know, that through the pandemic were in situations that weren't so pleasant. that they were forced into. Absolutely grateful, thankful, blessed to be in this place. It's just has made the transition that much more smooth.
That is awesome. It's so awesome, and I'm so jealous, and I'm waiting for my invitation. I'm just kidding.
Oh, wait a minute. You were on the beach, yesterday, right? Out your front door, basically. Come on.
I love.
Can't be all that.
I love how our group is constantly seeing how many times people can either get next to a river, a lake, or a beach, and posting about it. That's so funny.
First of all, thank you for coming on the show with us, and providing insight, because I think that's important. People get tired here and just me and Nathan talk, and they want to see the real side. They want to see a real person that has done this.
Because we're not real.
They don't believe that we're real.
They don't believe us.
It's not all the box of cherry roses or whatever for us either. But when a regular person can get on and talk about their experience, and that to me is worth a lot. If I'm looking and searching for something, and I see something like this, you're who I want to see. You're who I want to investigate.
Adam,
I will say this, and this. I'm sorry, Nathan.
Go for it.
This sounds a little flowery, kind of, but I gotta say it because it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
When well, maybe not flowery, but when I closed that first deal, Nathan, I tried to get your address. I was going to send you some chocolate, to across the pond and that kind of thing.
Hi, Nikki.
And there's Nikki. And you said, no, man, that's not necessary. Thank you. Kudos. You get props for, even thinking about that. But you said, Adam, you trusted us. That's what you said. Thank you for trusting us. You trusted us. You hung through this, you stuck it out, and you saw that first deal come to fruition. You know it's real now. Thank you for trusting us, was your comment. So kudos to you.
Yeah, man.
And for the record, I got cookies, and they were very good. I ate them all.
Oh, boy.
That's
celebration there. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. One of the things I'll tag on to what Mike said, and, because we're all just humans at the end of the day, but sometimes we get, we forget. I forget. I'll speak for myself. I forget all the work or time or effort, or even those moments that go into I'm nervous about getting into my first deal. I'm nervous about going to. So after a while on this journey, Adam, that you're going through, and however many deals you're going to do in your real estate career, after a while, you might forget, what it's like for the brand new person. Sometimes we have to realign ourselves. Sometimes I honestly, I don't even think about traveling everywhere all the time. I have to reconnect to that and say, wow, thank you for real estate investing. Thank you. I'm so grateful. And it's that reconnection. Or it's like Mike waking up to bank wires, randomly, right? He just forgets about it, right? The reality is sometimes, and that's why I love doing these, because and helping other people, because sometimes you can go from one deal to the next and you're like, oh, it's just a deal, but then you reconnect with what it feels like to do that first deal, to do that second deal and third deal, and then quit your job, right? I've only been able to do that once, Adam, but I feel like I lived that experience multiple times through our community when someone else quits their job and someone else quits their job and someone else gets their first $10,000 check and $20,000 check. I relive those moments because when you get another wire and it's a person's annual salary, you're like, oh yeah, okay. You just keep going. But when you hear someone else do it that's never done it before, it makes this business so much more enjoyable. It's amazing. So yeah, I just want to piggyback on what Mike said because it's so true. It makes it more fulfilling for us to do what we do. So it's awesome. Thanks for being a part of that. So that's
glad to be a part of it.
A little mental notes there. Well, Adam, thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for being a part of our community. And again, thank you for trusting us. Thank you for your business. Thank you for your trust that you've given us. And yeah, more success to you, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. Likewise.
Thanks everybody for watching and tuning in. And if you are considering or thinking about getting started in real estate, you can click on the link in the description. Adam, you have a bunch of fans that are saying hello, how are you? We got Donald saying, hey, what's up? We got Sarah.
Donald's #1 fan.
So good. Such a great community. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take care.